Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Coffee Chug, and I'm here today to do some exploring. It really just kind of share my learning journey with you. I have been a huge fan of MakeCode. It's been on my YouTube channel or my website, coffeeforthebrain.com. Will have seen tons of tutorials, and I've run many workshops using microbits and circuit playgrounds and coding in Minecraft, and just trying to find more time to jump into these guys. But something that's popped up recently has been this beta here of LEGO Mindstorms EV3. And for anyone that knows me, I am a LEGO junkie, and EV3 is one of my passions, one of my areas that I spend a lot of time on. So I thought that I would start to work through this and see what it's all about and start to figure out how effective is this? How could we use this in the classroom and camps and before and after school activities? And merge this with the LEGO EV3 software. And what are the pluses, the minuses, the good, the bad, and everything in between? And so I originally thought I would just go through and do this, and kind of do like most things where I would prep ahead of time. And I thought, that's just not going to be realistic. Most of you are going to be diving into this stuff at the same time as me. So I'm going to share my journey with you, and we're going to dive through these getting started things. Obviously, you could probably follow along and do them yourself, but sometimes it's kind of nice just to have a video to go with. And so we're going to start here with this prepare. And what this is going to do is actually essentially going to make sure that you actually have all things updated so your brick can communicate properly with MakeCode. And so when you click on the prepare, it's going to show you here for these show instructions, and it's going to take you to this documentation page. And you can see that there's already a ton of tutorials. If you've used microbits before, it's the same kind of flow, which is really, really exciting. But we need to go through and check our firmware. So I'm going to go ahead and check my brick here in just a minute and see what it is and then how we could go through and actually make this work. A couple of things that we're going to need to check ahead of time as you kind of go through this document. One, your firmware needs to be up to 1.10e or above, and we'll show you how to do that here by checking the brick info. We also need to make sure that we can see the EV3 drive on your computer. That's how we're going to drag files if you've done like microbit or circuit playground. So I'm actually just going to click on my finder here real quick just to see if it shows up, and I am not seeing it. You can see that it's not popping up. Kind of, sort of, please. I'm going to pop up my old LEGO EV3 software to see if my brick's being read here. So my brick is not getting picked up here, which is why we're not seeing the work. So I need to get this fixed out here. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alright. So my brick is here. It's plugged in. Oh, we can see my firmware is version 1.09e, so we're going to have to update that here in just a minute. But I can see here that it's finally being read, but it's not showing up over here. So we're going to need to check that out. Okay. If my USB connection is good and I still can't see my drive, try giving the brick and reset. Using a finger from one hand, press the back button and keep holding it. All right, so when we go to do the hard reset, what I had to do was I had to hold this back button right here, and then the left and the middle button. So it's a little kind of goofy to see here. I'm trying to do this. So if I hold this back button, and then I hold the left and enter, the middle and the left, oops, that's what's going to do the hard reset. You'll see this hopefully turn out here. I'm going to let go of the back button. It's going to turn red, then when it says starting, then I let go of those other two. And that's how we restart the brick. But what we want to do is check the firmware, the update, to make sure we're at 1.10e. And so one way, it will show up in the LEGO EV3 software, but in case you want to ever check on your brick, you can always go to brick info on the screen. And so I want to show you that here in just a minute. So while this is resetting, there we go. Okay, to get this glare off the screen here a little bit. So if I go all the way over here to this wrench, and then if I scroll down There's all these different options, but what we want to go down to below the menu, there's that says brick name. We want to go down here to brick info. And then when I hit the dark gray button, it's going to give me a bunch of information. And this tells me that my brick firmware, the brick FW, is version 1.09e. I don't know if you can see that right there. Okay, so that's one way that we can check this. So we're going to dive into the software, the LEGO Education EV3 software, and we're going to update this bad boy and get this thing rocking and rolling so we can move it over to makecode. All right, so here's what I had to do, guys. I had to manually upload my firmware. And so what I had to do when I was in my LEGO EV3 software, I had to do a manual update of my firmware because it didn't show up. So let me show you what I did. When I was in makecode, I clicked here to the LEGO Education. And when we were doing this getting started guide to get here with the instructions, it takes you to this amazing document, which you see we've talked about with the microbit, circuit playground, Minecraft education with makecode. It really is very nice. On this troubleshooting guide, which we've now done a lot on this video already, I went here to the firmware update page, and this is going to take you to LEGO Education. And I clicked here and I downloaded that firmware. What I did next was I just dragged it over, once it downloaded, over here to my desktop, so I had that file. Then I jumped over here to my LEGO EV3 LabVIEW software, the software that comes with your LEGO EV3 kit, and I went to Tools and I went to Firmware Update. And over here in this Browse icon, I clicked Browse and I went to my desktop and I found this file, this LME. You can keep it zipped, that's fine. And so when I went to desktop here, there it is right there. I was able to open it, and then I could have just continued to hit download it, and it would do that. I'm not going to do it now because I've already installed that. You'll notice too that my EV3 brick is showing up now over here, and so I have it right there. All I had to do is just simply restart my computer. So I don't know if there was just a miscommunication between my USB hub and the device, but just a simple reset of my computer, it showed up perfectly. So now what we can do, once we have our brick uploaded to the proper firmware as suggested, and we get in there, we can do this beginning try guide. And so in here, I suggest that we do the try. And so this is going to take you to a lesson. It's going to show you the instructions, and it's going to walk you through these basic blocks. These are all color coded, just like you see with all things makecode, which is nice, especially when we're talking with kids. It's one platform that they have to learn. And so you just go through this guide over here. You make sure it's all connected. I have all this going right now. And when I go ahead and just drag these blocks over here, so here's the on button. When the enter button is pressed, I could pick any button I want, but we'll just keep it enter. We're going to show a mood, so we can make these any eyes we want. I'm going to do the swirly wind because that was it's kind of been a little bit of a headache to get things up and running, but we should be good to go now. And then we'll just do the play sound effect here, and we'll just change this to the communication, to the hello, and we should be good. So we can see that. We'll go down here to the download. We got it. It tells you your first time here. Check the firmware, make sure you're connected. Good. You move the file over, so I got it. My file is down here, so I show in the Finder, and I just drag that over to my EV3, and we should be in good shape. All right, so here's our brick. I'm going to go ahead and drag this over here real quick and get on the computer screen, as you can see right here. Okay. Then what happens while it loads up? The button is orange there. And now, when I hit the enter button, as our code suggests, it should say hello with the smiley face.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello.
The other buttons don't work, but
Hello.
there we go. We have success. So let's get moving into the next program. As always, guys, I hope you found this helpful. This is just my journey. Let me know what you think, thoughts, communication so far. I know for me, even though this took a little bit of going and getting set up, that's true with anything. So not real smooth, but once we're up and rock and rolling, this is going to be really nice just because we've done a lot of work already with Circuit Playground and Microbit, so it's going to be awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the next one. In the meantime, let me know what you think. Thoughts, comments, feedback, all that good stuff. And as always, stay awesome.